Hi, thank you for joining us today on In Focus. I'm Dani Walsh, the Township Supervisor, and today I have a special guest. We have the new Bloomfield Hills Superintendent for the school district, Rick West, and I want to thank him for joining me today. Hi, Rick.
Hi, Dani. Good morning.
Thank you so much for coming. Boy, they hit you right out of the gate, because when did you start?
Started July 1st officially.
Okay. Yeah. And tell us about you. Where you're from? What's your background?
Yeah, so I have a extended background in K-12 administration, spanning over the last 16, 17 years or so. Started my career in my hometown, Burton, Michigan, where I served as the business manager of Atherton Community Schools for 3.5 years. Moved on to Royal Oak Schools, where I served as executive director of finance and operations for 3.5 years, and then have spent the last decade of my career in Troy School District, where I've served as the assistant superintendent of business services, and then most recently as their deputy superintendent. So that spans over the course of about 17 years in K-12 administration, directly in central office, where I've assisted superintendents on the day-to-day operations of the school district. So just an honor to be here and selected as the next superintendent of Bloomfield Hills Schools.
Well, and with being in K-12, you offer a different perspective to that as a administrator who doesn't have the teaching background. What drew you as an advocate for kids to go into K-12?
Yeah, so that was early on. I coached and I substitute taught in college, and I knew I wasn't necessarily interested in taking the teaching route, but just a heart for kids, and really watching them connect with their passions. It's been something that's evolved really over the course of my career. And then certainly after becoming a parent myself, seeing that and having that perspective, it's just really enhanced my passion for public education. I'm a fierce advocate for public education, and therefore, taking that non-traditional pathway which you alluded to from the business side. I have a master's in business administration, and that's my education background. But leveraging that and using that to further the work of public education has been just a tremendous career. Something that I, as I mentioned, just very passionate about. So. The connection to kids and the altruistic nature really of public education and creating environments and experiences for kids to reach their potential is really what excites me about the work.
Well, and when we spoke once before, I always say there's the heart of a teacher. Yeah. And I have a lot of my sisters, my aunts. And when we spoke, I was surprised to hear you weren't, because you have that in you. Yeah. And the way you talked about the children, that makes it special, because you have that business mind, but you have a heart of a teacher inside of you. Yeah.
And I think anybody working in the schools, have that same heart. Right. And albeit, I'm removed from the classroom, it doesn't remove you from the work. And the work is connecting kids to their passion and making sure that they're learning. And I just have so much tremendous amount of respect for the work that teachers do on a day-to-day basis. And looking forward to connecting and being in classrooms. As the deputy and being on the non-instructional side throughout my career, I've taken opportunities and been afforded opportunities to be close to the work. But as the superintendent of schools, it is a different seat. I've learned that in the first 30 days or 37 days, I guess I'm on. And I look forward to getting in the buildings, observing, understanding a little bit deeper on the teaching side and how that transfer of knowledge is really taking place, and how we might perfect it even more.
And there is something special here where the superintendent is accessible. Growing up in the school district, we knew our superintendents. They're not just a name, they're a face. Yeah. So from what I've seen of you, I have a feeling you're going to be hands-on and in it at the events and seeing.
Yeah, I look forward to connecting and being visible and accessible, responsive to the needs that I think that is a requirement of the job. Certainly certainly there's kind of a goal to diminish the role of the superintendency because the work is being done in our classroom and in our buildings. And I really view it as my job. My primary job is to remove the barriers for that work to be done efficiently, effectively, and at the highest level. So that's really, as a superintendent, what I look to do. I also need to be the greatest advocate and cheerleader for what our kids are doing throughout the organization. And I've used the word before, an ambassador really for the work that Bloomfield Hills Schools, teaching staff, students, and all of the work. We are a robust organization. We have food service, transportation, paraprofessionals, interpreters, secretaries. We run the gamut. Operations, a robust operations department. So we are a large employer, within Bloomfield Township, and being that face and that ambassador is certainly part of the job, and part of it that it excites me. So yes, I will be visible. I'll be accessible. That's the goal, and I think that is the work of the superintendent. So
that's great.
And we've already had that opportunity over the course of July. We are, I'm not naive to know I've started up a number of school years now, but the summer is a little bit of a lull. So I've had an opportunity to meet with a tremendous amount of people, yourself included, and look forward to engaging our students as they come back in the next 20 some days.
Right. It's going to come fast.
Yeah, it is.
Now, when you're coming from Troy, also a very good school district, what draws you to Bloomfield Hills? Yeah,
so when you're in school administration, I mean, there's aspirations. Certainly, I was an aspiring superintendent, and when you evaluate the opportunities, there's none better than Bloomfield Hills Schools. My wife and I still look at each other and like, what's happened in the last 2 months? It is a destination district. I mean, I viewed it when the opportunity came about. I researched it. I looked into it, and I say this as genuine and as authentic as I can. It is the premier job in public education in the state. Bloomfield's reputation for excellence, its standards, the team that I've got to know and meet is second to none. So I'm just delighted. I mean, the opportunity as it was presented and as researched, you don't find a better one. So when I took a chance and threw my name in, and then the process worked itself out and I was a selected candidate, I'm so honored. It's just an experience. I believe it's going to be an experience of a lifetime. And I talked about a lot in my interview process about providing generational change, or generational impact rather, not change, but impact. So one of the words that keep coming up throughout my first 30 some days on the job is sustainability and stability. And so I'm hoping to be a longtime superintendent here and really provide the processes and the systems to have staying power and create generational impact for the students.
Well, and having stability at your level would be so important, because I might be biased, but being a kid who went through the school system, the teachers are so special here. I'm still connected to some of them, that they were back in the 80s when I was going to school here. I did graduate in the 90s though. But the teachers are amazing. The administrators are amazing. And that change that we have at the top, it doesn't give families a chance to get to know you as well. So knowing that you're more of a long-term, you're here for the long haul, that's important to those that are in the lower level right now, working their way up through the high school.
I think it is. And through my conversations, that's a desire, really. Right. It's a desire of our administrators. People like stability. People like predictability. So creating those systems and having that mindset I think is important. I haven't had an opportunity yet to meet with a lot of teachers, and as I mentioned, I look forward to doing that. And again, how can central office be of service to them to remove the barriers for them to do the work on an efficient basis? Yes, there is no better career path, I don't believe, more meaningful career path than being a teacher. Where you mentioned it, right? And you still have they change lives unequivocally. I can probably name K through 12 my teachers, being in a small community and the impact that they had on me. And so I know and I appreciate the impact that teachers have on a daily basis, and providing the resources necessary and the experience and removing the barriers is the important work.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And then you have a lot coming at you. Like you said, you have to meet a lot of people. You have to learn although you've done a lot of New Year's, as you said, this one's the first one with Bloomfield Hills Schools. What are some of the things that you want to get accomplished this year? And then maybe something that when you're here in your 5th year or something down the road?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've had a lot of time through the process to reflect, and part of the process is putting together a 90-day plan, but that 90 days is a whirlwind. We're 30 some days in already. And so certainly we're checking off those, but it's meeting people. It's really understanding the different perspectives. So that's what I'm in a listening tour, a learning tour right now about what's going well, what are some opportunities. Each of my conversations have been, the intentions are twofold. One, to get to know people personally, develop relationships, meaningful relationships. And then the second one is I'm asking them from their perspectives, what are the greatest organizational opportunities and challenges that as they see it. And I've just gotten such great feedback to help develop what that is. And I mentioned it already, stability is one of those words. People want stability. Now, what I've come to understand and appreciate since the bond passed in 2020 or 2021, there's been a lot of transition of buildings. We've redistricted, we've repurposed buildings. So creating that sense of stability where we can just focus, hopefully this year, on the work. I'm concerned about initiative fatigue, and how that's playing out. And I'm interested in learning more about what we have on each person's plate, and how we might be more effective in that way. So I think in the first year, we're developing that right now as a team. I had my first cabinet meeting with everybody together, just welcomed back the administrators this morning prior to coming to here. And I think we're fleshing out the idea of kindness and care this year as the focus. 5 years from now, we're going to be, much as I think you are now, in a strategic planning process. I think there's opportunities to really focus on what it is we want to be. What does it mean to be a Blackhawk? What does it mean to be a Bloomfield Hills Schools student and member of our community, staff member? So really focusing on bringing collaborative groups together to develop that next iteration of our strategic plan. Again, we're building from a great place too, but this is a tremendous school district with incredible resources, and those incredible resources mainly being our human resources. The people here the power is within the people. I've said that before. So really leveraging the different perspectives from the history to the fresh perspectives of the new employees, and how we leverage that, bring it together, bring the community in to develop that strategic vision would be kind of the 5-year plan.
Right. And it's interesting because our plans, although we're different entities, we're different boards, different administrations, there's so much overlap in who we touch and what we do, that during our strategic planning right now, there is consistent messaging about our school systems and about parks. And actually, you mentioned the bond. One thing that came up is in 2020, all of us who believe in education, obviously, we're going to vote for things that help with the schools, but then some that maybe they don't have children in the school system, they really keyed in on the fact that you are our parks, you are our green space. So I know the investments that were going to go into Bowers and the nature center, and even they were bringing back a community pool, which growing up here, we had open gym, open pool, and that brought the community together. That was a really big plus. I know that really helped. So it's funny that although it's your initiative in your buildings, we help push that because we're stronger together. And instead of competing, we've learned to work together and bring things. So in our strategic plan, they actually mentioned many of your initiatives in ours.
And we have to be symbiotic. We're both,
Right.
We're both service organizations, right? So I look forward to partnering with you and your staff. And certainly today you have the police millage on the ballot as well. So public safety is important. Every day we have over, 6,000, 7,000 kids and staff members in our building. So making sure that we have a strong relationship with the public safety and the police department is critically important. In my understanding, we do. I get an opportunity to meet with our resource officers next week, I believe. So I look forward to strengthening that, and then looking for just authentic ways to strengthen those partnerships. You mentioned it, and recreation is a huge part of a kid's experience, and in large part, it is my understanding that the school district has the resources, and there is no question the schools are community resources, right? So how do we leverage those in providing the best experience for our overall community, and the well-being of our community is an important part. I'm ecstatic to hear it's part of your strategic plan. It's got to be part of our strategic plan too, because we service the same people. We service the Bloomfield Hills Township, and it is extremely important that we leverage all the resources we can to make it the most efficient and effective it can for our community.
You mentioned the public safety link that we have together. I don't want to misquote, but I believe we were one of the first in the state to create that link. And it was there, and I don't want to date myself, but I'm 52. So it was there when I was in school as a young child in elementary. You got to know the officer that was there, and it created that trust. Because having, as you call them, we have the resource officer and the security officer, they humanize policing to the children, so they know if something happens, it's safe. Go see a police officer. We used to always tell our nieces and nephews, if you ever run into trouble, find a police officer, a teacher, or a mom, and all three of them will protect. And that link, seeing other school systems that don't have that link, I do notice a disconnect. And I know for sure our officers, those are coveted positions. They love working in those because it's special.
Yeah.
Those kids and the teachers, they just make everything better. Yeah. And so that's a special.
It is. And I look forward to understanding the relationship a little bit better and seeing how we can even enhance that. And giving the students that perspective and a connection with law enforcement that is so positive and so authentic is important. And, superintendents across the state, and I will be no exception, indicate that safety and security is the primary focus. And it is. And how do we do that? And how do we partner with our township? And we have city as well. And so we have different units, but how do we partner with them?
Two township? Do you have? It's Bloomfield Township, Bloomfield Hills, the city, West Bloomfield Township. Are there any other areas you pull from, or is it essentially those three communities?
I think we have a little bit of Troy.
Okay.
But our primary buildings are, I believe, in the township.
Right.
So, partnering with you all is critical to that mission of assuring safety and security as a primary focus. And we're hard at work already looking at, we have a safety and security director, and we're hard at work with him and developing our plans and making sure that we have processes in place. So we do appreciate that partnership, and I look forward to again in the next week. I've already met Chief Gallagher.
Yes.
What a fantastic, and I'm wishing you all well today on that ballot initiative. So we look forward to that partnership.
Yeah, he is a breath of fresh air, and he came into our system at the same time that our fire chief, John Leroy, came in, and it is amazing. They're like siblings because they grew up through here together for over 25 years.
That relationship's got to be powerful.
It is pretty amazing. And they even, when it comes to the kids, obviously, when we're trying to promote police and fire to children, I know that with the fire tech program that the fire has and the youth academy that the police have, they kind of have a competition of who the kids like more.
Oh,
so that might
great.
be something that we egg on a little.
Yeah, that's a healthy competition, right?
Absolutely. So let's get to some fun things.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of things that you have to do strategically, but there's also some great events coming up.
Yeah.
So if people were to go to your website, it's bloomfield.org.
Correct.
They'll learn about an ice cream social. Let me get the date right. Is August 21st?
August 21st. Yeah. So I'm having a couple social events, and that being one of the first on August 21st at 2 p.m. These are just meet and greets. You know, I'm new to the district. I've got to meet a lot of people and looking forward to meeting many more. So that's an opportunity to come out.
Great.
Wing Lake, we're at our Wing Lake building. So bring the kids, have them play on the playground, and just have a good time. We get to meet one another and have just a discussion.
And are you going to be, did I hear monthly coffees with the superintendent for
Yeah.
now to get?
Well, I think so. You know, we're still working with our communications team and seeing what's most effective, but it is my effort to connect with the community. Certainly I'm going to be at events, you know, student events. I'll be in buildings and all of that, but I want to be, as I mentioned, visible and accessible to the community. Therefore, we're going to look at the best way to do that and provide opportunities for community to come in. They have a different perspective. They have different ideas, and we want to hear from them as well.
And I think you have another one coming, the high school open house. So this is a really cool thing because it is totally changed. When I went there as Andover, it didn't look anything like it does now. We also had Lasser at the time, and they brought the two schools together. And I also love that they have a Baron and a Knight. Those were our old mascots, and they kind of have them facing off, but together. So this will be a chance for the community as a whole to come in and see. Is that what this open house is about?
Yeah. So we have 4 family ambassadors, just invaluable positions, and they are hosting on Sunday, November 3rd, so it's a little bit further into the fall, but they are they're hosting that open house, and just an opportunity for people to come in and see the building. What an incredible resource that is. You know, we've heard about it, we've studied it from an architectural standpoint. You know, in Troy, we were building a new Smith Middle School. A lot of our ideas came from the high school there, and it's just an incredible resource. So we're opening it up on November 3rd for community to come in and see it.
And there's one other time that we'll be crossing over together where the schools will be at our open house on October 13th. It's from 11 to 3. And we usually have a booth for not just the high school, but I think even some of the other school middle schools and elementary show up. We also get Bowers Farm, bring some animals. So that's always fun. So I don't know if you'll be at that event, but if you are, we have a dunk tank that we could maybe sign you up for. I know Chief Gallagher gets stuck in there, that maybe we could put you in for an hour.
Let's continue to talk about that opportunity. But
I was hoping to solidify it.
We look forward to engaging in that. And again, that just will exemplify our partnership. And certainly I think it's on a Saturday, right?
It's on a Sunday.
Or Sunday. So
you can't get in the way of all the kids have so many things going on with soccer and all of the different fall sports. So
absolutely.
Plus, you know, I'm a U of M grad, and we have the MSU grads too. You can't get in the way of football on those. So we usually do Sundays for better attendance.
Excellent. Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you there. Yeah. And then, are there any other events that they could always go onto the website though too, as you're adding them onto that Bloomfield.org?
Our communications team does a great job keeping the community up to date. www.bloomfield.org. And we, our events are front and center, I believe, on the web page. So check those out. none more important than the opening day, which is Tuesday, September 3rd, which is when we'll welcome our kids back to school.
Exciting.
So yes, it is.
That is. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yes.
It has been a pleasure getting to know you. And I hope that we'll be here many years to come to interview you each year of what your next exciting thing will be.
Yes. Well, I look forward to it. I appreciate the invitation and the discussion and look forward to partnering.
Thank you.
Yep.
And thank you, everybody. Again, we hope to see you at the Ice Cream Social on August 21st, at the Open House on October 13th, and at the High School Open House on November 3rd. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you to Superintendent Rick West, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.